Okay, is this working? There's gonna be a giant ring light everywhere for the whole video, so just be ready for that one. Title screen! I don't make the rules, okay? George Lucas does. Or his wife does. Or she did. The point is, somebody else makes the rules. I'm just here to enforce them. And rule number 1, never underestimate a droid. I'm a firm believer in something I hold to be a mildly problematic belief. The droids in Star Wars are the real heroes. Without them, nothing would have gotten done, our human heroes would have definitely perished, and all around we would have had a worse time. Don't believe me? Let me explain it. I took notes. There's notes here. First of all, as much as I love Star Wars, I won't pretend to be an expert. My knowledge is based mostly on what they portray in the films. I've only just started Clone Wars, the series. I haven't read much books or done much research. This is only on the research I've done from the movies. I'm also going to try not to give my biased opinion of any of the droids or any of the movies. And emphasis on the word try, because I absolutely will give my biased opinion, and you will hear it. Once again, this is my research based solely on the movies to support the hypothesis that droids are the real heroes of Star Wars. Honestly, it seems to be the droids are the reason anything happens anywhere, ever, all the time, for anything, always. So, I mean, when you think about it, everything that happens in these movies happens because a droid made it happen. Sure, some dude with a laser sword might have told him to do it first, but would the dude with the laser sword been able to do it without the droid? That's the question we're answering today. They are infinitely useful tools at worst, and the galaxy's biggest heroes at best. Just let me explain. We'll go through this a couple movies at a time. Starting with, well, I guess we'll go chronologically, since I wrote it on the board chronologically. And as much as these droids do, I'm looking for big actions that without the droids would have probably cost our protagonists their lives. Stuff that definitely proves without their existence, we wouldn't have the galaxy we live in. With all that said and done, let's jump into the first 2 prequels. In Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, we're shown exactly what droids can do in place where humans cannot. They operate outside a moving spaceship during battle and fix things going wrong. R2 saves the ship in Phantom Menace along with Padme in Attack of the Clones, and R4 saves Obi-Wan by releasing the spare parts hatch. A couple other strong points to mention are R2 showing the map of Naboo and the trust he has in all of Attack of the Clones. He's the droid that guides Padme's ship, the droid that watches over her as she sleeps. Granted, he didn't catch the little poisonous caterpillars. The droid that relays the message to the Jedi Council. This droid is trusted. Oh, and he saved C-3PO during the Battle of Geonosis. I'm so close. I'm so close. This is too close. You need to back up. Anyway, that's going to be important later, but we'll get back to it. Okay, now it's clear that the droids were used a lot during the Clone Wars. And no, I don't mean by the Separatist droid army. Astromech and medic droids, along with every little bot they could find, helped the Republic during the war. Focusing specifically on what happens in these movies, we have a few strong points. First, it's R2 that finds a way out on Teth, and C-3PO who saves Padme from the hut back on Coruscant. Then in Revenge of the Sith, we see what's true for all of the movies. Droids co-piloting ships, and obviously R2 locating the Chancellor when he's caught by Count Dooku. Alright, we're blowing through these. Let's go, let's go. Now we're focusing on Solo and Rogue One. I think it's very clear the parts the droids played in the Star Wars stories. I mean, L337 literally starts a droid revolution, which comes back to something we'll talk about a little bit more later, moralistic bias, or a droid's moral compass. Moral compass. They tend to have bias toward their programming, yes, but when exercising free will, they almost always choose good. We'll get into that more later. Elfie frees not only the droids, but the rest of the slaves as well, before giving her life and joining the Falcon. And then in Rogue One, we have the powerhouse that is K2SO. I don't really have to say much else, but I will. He assassinates another K2, he's part of their disguise at the base, he's their muscle, and he also gives his life for the cause. And can we all collectively remember how hilarious he is? Rest in peace, you magnificent robot, you. Alright, now the original trilogy. This is when things start to get really obvious to me. R2 again is trusted with the message to bring to Obi-Wan. Because both him and 3PO are droids, there's no life forms in the pod they escaped from. And then not only does R2 find the princess in the ship, but then 3PO fools the stormtroopers, and then R2 stops the trash compactor from killing all of our heroes. And that's just A New Hope. In Empire Strikes Back, droids are full of useful information. But the big ones that saved our human heroes are R2 opening the door to the Millennium Falcon, and R2 fixing the hyperdrive so they can get off of Cloud City. In Return of the Jedi, the plan to free Han and the rest of the game once they're all captured wouldn't have happened if the droids didn't act as a double agent. It's always the droids, I'm telling you. Even C-3PO being mistaken for a god saves their skin at one point. Anyways, sequels, let's go. We definitely start to see the same motifs. BB-8 having trust, R2 having the map to Luke Skywalker, BB-8 saving Poe while they fly, and BB-8 saving Finn and Rose with the ship. But this one is big. C-3PO reads and translates the Sith dagger. Without C-3PO, it's clear they would have never figured out what that dagger says. No one in the galaxy can read Sith that we know of. That couples with R2's signals to have everybody fall right to Exegol means that none of these things in this movie could have happened without the droids. Alright, time to wrap shit up. So what were those big points I kept saying we were going to come back to? We got co-pilot, tech-savvy, trustworthy, and moralistic bias. These are the points that, through their actions, prove that droids are the real heroes of Star Wars. Let's start with their piloting abilities. In my note-taking, I counted 24 instances where a droid performed an action for a pilot, saved a ship by making repairs, or just completely flew the ship. And that's just what we hear in the movies, not to mention all the implications that has for the real universe whenever they have to fly somewhere, or for every TV show and everything that they fly a ship in. And this also doesn't include the entire Separatist army had autonomous droid ships. And the big key moments of co-piloting are ones that are drastic, ones that without the droids, they would not have been able to complete the action. R2 saving Padme's ship with everybody aboard. R4 basically flying Obi-Wan's ship for him all the time because he can't pilot for shit. R2 and C-3PO at different times fixing the hyperdrive in the Falcon. In all of these instances, I'm drawn to the conclusion that the droids were used because there were no alternatives. A crew member can't go out into space during battle and complete repairs. If Obi-Wan needed a secondary pilot everywhere he went, we'd be constantly putting another person's life at risk. And if not for R4, his limited skill set would definitely leave him dead in the dust several times, especially with Jango Fett. Even Han knew how important droids were. The Falcon's navigational computer is L337. I feel like this one point wins it alone, but let's keep going. Droids are absolutely trusted. As I said before, R2 is trusted as Padme's co-pilot to Coruscant, her guard in her room. Again, even if you didn't see the little poison alien bugs. Ahsoka trusts R2 with her life when trying to escape Tooth. Obi-Wan trusts R4 every time they get into a ship. Princess Leia with the Death Star plans. R2 takes a bullet for Luke and nobody bats an eye. Jabba even trusts the droids, enough to have them work for him at least. And they straight up overthrow his jank ass. The stormtroopers listen to these guys without batting an eye in the Death Star. And then BB-8 is trusted with the map to Skywalker. Finn trusts BB-8 to lie for him, and then he does. These droids are trustworthy to a fault, and without their loyalty, our humans would have definitely perished. Now, their tech savvy is never in question. They are, after all robots. They speak with an aspect of the universe that most of our human counterparts can't. R2 and C-3PO constantly communicating with the Falcon to try and get shit to work. K2SO simultaneously navigates the computer system while shooting stormtroopers with his pistol and guiding our protagonist to the end of the story. So, without the droids' knowledge and their ability to communicate with technology, most of the time our heroes would have died. Last, but certainly not least, I believe droids have a moralistic bias, or at least a good moral compass, depending on their programming. We've seen that when given free will, they will exercise that will for the greater good. Take the uprising on Kessel. L337 freed one droid. One measly droid. It asked what it should do now that it's free, and L337 half-heartedly said, go free your other brothers and sisters. Guess what that motherfucker does with his first second of autonomy? He goes and he frees his brothers and sisters. And then one of the droids, finally given free will also, decides to free the rest of the slaves, which causes a mass rebellion and allows them to fight for their freedom off of Kessel. This is an extreme case, but it's one that shows droids, with nothing to gain and little to lose, will go to great lengths to ensure justice. That's pretty much it. Those are my reasons for droids being the real heroes of Star Wars. I have some honorable mentions over here. Some stuff I wanted to discuss, but these things could have easily been done by humans. I just don't know the logistics. First up, we got the doorman thing. I mean, they're always open indoors, but we've seen Han and some other people be able to hijack them before, so I'm sure humans could open doors if needed. They make loyal companions, you know, but so do dogs. Or porgs. They're often used to send transmissions out, like communications, but I mean, I'm sure we could have figured out some other cell phone thing or something going on for the galaxy. And lastly, aren't they just the cutest? But again, you know, could have put anything. Could have put a kid there, I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching. I absolutely can't wait to argue with you in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and click that link below for other content. And remember, never underestimate a droid.